Now that's what I call an awesome tree to have in the backyard. Can you imagine being a kid and you run out of the house and you run straight to that tree to climb up on it? Wow. That's what I'm talking about. It will be your best friend. You can tell it anything, hug it, talk to it, and it won't tell a soul. Oh boy. Hey family. I pray all is well with many of you. I was just sitting here reflecting, and I was thinking about a lot of changes that's going on in the world. Earth Gaia is doing a whole lot of shifting. A whole lot of shifting. I saw a video had popped up, and actually, the person had uploaded it on YouTube 3 weeks ago, and it was a video of Sadia Desert, the Sadia Desert. It's open, vast, dry land, and yeah, it's like the earth is cracking and it's forming, rivers and lakes out there, and the media's not talking about it. The earth plates below are shifting. Please know that. Yeah, it's forming cracks due to the shift. It's forming cracks, in the streets, or should I say, in the land, and water's shooting out, and it's forming rivers and lakes. Isn't that interesting? And then I heard about this a couple of months back because the local, media is not talking about it. Um, the Euphrates, I think it's called the Euphrates River, it's drying up in the Middle East. It's drying up. Isn't that interesting? And you can imagine what's showing up. I don't know how deep it was, but you can imagine what's showing up. A lot of interesting artifacts are showing up, and little caves, caverns are showing up. And I'm sure many of you have heard about this already. What's going on in that area? Due to the fact that the lake is drying up. Okay, the Euphrates Lake is drying up. There are some caverns that are starting to show, and there are people that are, walking around because they're curious. This lake is drying up. So they're walking around, and there's a certain area there, and they're hearing sounds underground. And I think it is a video. Just type in the Euphrates, okay? But it's a video that's going viral, and I'm sure many of you heard about it already. How people are hearing the sounds, of they're saying it's fallen angels, you know. I think the Bible does mention about it. I forgot which verse, you know. But anyway, about how these angels were bound in the Euphrates, shall I say. But if I'm wrong, correct me with love. I appreciate it. But yeah, a lot of people are wondering, are these the so-called fallen angels that are bound in that area? Because people can, there's a video that I seen, and this person is standing there, and it's like a little hole in the ground, and they're hearing, this voice saying hello, because it's picking up on their presence. And it's saying hello, and, and it's groaning and howling, and, it sounds like, an entity that's very huge. Let me just say that. Because the voice kind of echo like. But, family, we're living in some interesting times, okay? Long as the earth keep shifting, and she's going to continue to shift, there's no telling what's going to be showing up. I've already told many of you, and this is going on now. They just don't talk about it. I've had like visions of, the ocean floors, shifting, and pyramids appearing out of the water. This is going on now. They're not talking about it. Just like a lot of these so-called pyramids that are all over the world, every now and then somebody will happen to take a picture of one, and you can see this high beam light shooting from the pyramids. This beam of light shooting from these so-called pyramids around all over the world, and they're not talking about it, and they're not going to talk about it. But I just find it to be interesting. And I'm very excited, to tell you the truth, because it's not just, the earth shifting, family, and a lot of, ancient cities and pyramids, artifacts are going to be showing up. But due to this shift, shall I say, I just want to watch what I say, because YouTube is good about, you can't say certain things. It's just going to be a lot of changes. Okay, it's going to be a lot of changes, and many of you are already experiencing the changes yourself. I forgot who it was that had hit me up. They were asking me about, they're just pretty much saying that, speaking their truth, they've been putting in the work, and so far they're not noticing any changes, okay? When it comes to spiritual growth, spiritual evolution. I think they said it, that they're planting their feet, they're sun gazing, and probably, changing their diet, I say this all the time. Everything's going to happen in everyone's season. It's a season for everything. I was not expecting the things to happen to me when they did happen. I was not expecting it. It just happened. And, but I was going through the changes in life. Let me just say that. It's like all of a sudden, something shifted within me, at that particular time in my life, okay? Because I'm 51 now. Back then I was, 43. This shift started to escalate in my life, and even all the way back before Obama, became my president, I was seeing sparkles back then. So everything gradually was happening, gradually, but I wasn't expecting it. And back then I wasn't even planting my feet. Back then I didn't even change my diet, the way I eat. Back then, I wasn't sun gazing. When I started seeing sparkles, I was not sun gazing. But what I was doing, I was exercising. I was doing a lot of walking. I didn't even have a YouTube channel back then. I was just doing a lot of walking. I would, get out from work, and I go home, get myself together, and I step out in the evening time and I go for a walk. I think I would walk like for 30 to 35 minutes. If not every day, definitely every other day. And I lost a lot of weight doing it. Okay, and it's free. It's free. I was drinking plenty of water, and I was just exercising. That's pretty much all I was doing back then. And I started seeing sparkles. I never forget it. And it was during the time, I probably say a couple of months before Obama became my president. This was going on back then. But things were happening gradually. And, but, back then, my spiritual side, and let me say this also, I was noticing a change in my vision. For instance, I don't know about you, family, but you know how you go to the bathroom, handling your business, and you sitting there, right? Now, the wall is white. But for some reason, I was just staring at the wall, and the wall went from white looking yellow. It's like lines were showing up in the walls, and the lines were yellow looking. It's hard to describe it. It's like if you can imagine seeing cracks in your wall, but it's not a cracks. You're seeing lines, and the lines look kind of yellowish, gold looking. The wall went from white to yellow. That's when my vision was really changing up. And I couldn't put my hand on it. Now when I'm seeing the walls looking like this now, it's normal to me. But back then, I didn't know what that was. I even asked my mom, I said, when I'm looking at the wall, you know how you look at a wall and you kind of go into a trance? Like I'm staring at the screen. And the more I look at it, it started to change up. That's how it was for me back then. The wall was going from white to yellowish in my vision. Okay? As I was staring at it, it changed up on me, and then it go from yellow back to white. And I was like, of course I'm doing this right here, rubbing my eyes. But that's one of the changes that I was experiencing back then. Okay? And I've always been, the kind of person to look up. I wasn't really sun gazing then, but I always had this desire to look up. I just love to look up at the clouds, and because back then I would see like shapes in clouds, numbers in clouds. I thought that was interesting also. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is the things that people tell people to do as far as to get right so they can awaken. I wasn't doing it back then, but the change would happen slowly. That's all I'm saying. So to get back to that individual that had asked me, well, they didn't ask me anything, but they were just letting me know that to them, they're doing all the right things, but they're not noticing any changes. Like all I can tell you is, keep doing what you're doing, and it's a process. Okay? What's meant for you is meant for you. And even when you do start to awaken, shall I say, it's going to be your truth, and can't nobody take it from you. And everybody, I had to say it, everybody's truth is different, because the things you're going to see, somebody else probably won't see it. The things you're going to experience, somebody else probably not going to experience. What's meant for you to experience, it's meant for you. That's why I don't never sit here and, like, if I'm, conversing with somebody about this topic, I just share my experience. And then I listen to them, they share theirs. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That's amazing. And that's it. I don't try to compare, because when it comes to this reality, some things we can relate to, and a lot we're not going to be able to relate to. Okay? All I do is speak my truth. That's all I do here. I don't try to, get people to think the way I think. Say you got to do this, you got to follow me. I don't talk like that. I don't need for nobody to follow me. When many of you, want to watch me, that's fine. That's fine. You generally have love for your sister, and, you enjoy my content. I appreciate you, and I love you for that, okay? You're my brother in the spirit. You're my sister in the spirit. I thank you, But the ultimate person you need to be following, okay, is the God that's within you. I tell many of you to empower yourself. Go within yourself and get your answers. Even everything I talk about, go within yourself and fact check. Okay? But at the end of the day, it's my experiences that I'm having. Okay? Things are changing, family. And many people are not aware of it because you're not operating in awareness. Okay? That was once me. I was in that little box way of thinking, and the things I speak about now, I didn't know it then. I did not know it then. So I can imagine many of you when I'm talking, it's like, you hear, but still you hear not, because you haven't experienced it. It's very interesting to, be in a room and you're surrounded by people and you seeing something that they're not seeing, okay? You're outside and you're looking up and you're seeing something they're not seeing. It's easy to say, oh, you crazy. It's easy to go there, but little do they know, these dimensions are intertwining. Let me just say that. And that phrase, I've heard it before, but now I understand it. I'm in this world, not of this world. I understand it now. It's like you're in this reality, okay, reality dimension, but you find yourself, you're here, but then you're also experiencing another reality also. Probably two different dimensions, to be honest with you. But you get to where you start experiencing two realities at one time. And, if you don't get a grip or be balanced, you think you're going crazy. And a lot of our brothers and sisters that are in these so-called facilities, they're not crazy. They're so fully open that, they don't know what to do with the things that they're singing. They don't know how to comprehend it. And they don't have nobody to talk to, because those that they do talk to, they think they're crazy. Okay? And it's nothing like not having no kind of support. Some people's mind, they just fully snapped. Okay? And everybody's different. There are people that actually, needs to be in there. They needed help. But all of them are not crazy. All of them are not crazy. And we haven't seen anything yet. This is just the beginning, family. We haven't seen anything yet. Okay? How do they say? The best is yet to come. Yes, indeed. But to many of you who have been putting in the work, and you're like, oh, what's going on? I'm not seeing anything. I'm not noticing any changes. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Continue to put the work in. I'm not going to tell you everything that was going on with me, but I will say this. I changed a lot. I became more empathetic. This I will say. And, the Most High God knows his children. He knows when your heart is right. Okay? I was definitely, being mindful of what I was listening to and what I was watching. That's very important, because it can really affect you in ways you think not. You're taking this stuff in. The music itself is very destructive that they're playing now, especially if a lot of people is into this rap music. Playing this music back, you really don't know what you're listening to, and you be very surprised when you play this music back. It's pretty much speaking from the perspective of, speaking about things that you don't even agree with, but you're listening to it and you're agreeing with it because you're doing like this. You're taking it in and you're constantly listening to it, but you're really not operating awareness of knowing what you're listening to. Okay? So that takes spiritual discernment. But all music is not good music. Okay? It's best to listen to some good old tone, high vibrational music and, tones to listen to. Just because it's your favorite artist, it doesn't mean that, that music is good music to listen to. Okay? Because it can affect you in a way, and you wondering why you're not spiritually evolving. I mean, what are you listening to? Cause it is though you're agreeing with it, even though you're saying you're not. It's like you are agreeing with it because you listen to it. They can be saying "Hail Satan," and you sitting here bopping to it. Yeah, hey. Have a relationship with the God that's within you, the all there is. Okay, the I am. Have a relationship with Source God, the Most High, that's within you, family. Okay, that is for you to do. I can't force it on you. It is for you to, make an effort and go within yourself. Whether you're hearing anything or whether you see anything or not, it is for you to put the effort in. Okay, so you can have that breakthrough moment. Don't give up. Do not give up on yourself. And do not conform to your circumstances. Do not conform to the darkness that you may find yourself in. You are a light. A light cannot be hidden. And we all know that darkness cannot comprehend the light. Do not conform to the darkness and dim your light for nobody. Keep your inner lamp bright so you'll be able to navigate out here. So when you go within yourself, you definitely need to know how to navigate. Let me just say that. And you will. The more you go within yourself, You will. For you know it, just start to awaken and doors are going to start opening up for you. All right, family? And that was a sign. Before you know it, doors are going to start opening up for you. And you will see them for what they are when they present themselves to you. Just make sure your heart is right. Many of you need to do some work, okay? Because back then, I was putting the work in. I didn't have no choice to, because I was dealing with the dark night of the soul. So I know it was either I get myself together or I'm going to constantly be spiritually attacked. And, yeah, I knew what time it was. I had to work on me. And a marvelous, beautiful change came out of that. My heart started to open. My vibration started to increase. This opened. I had a kundalini. Behold, the Most High God make all things new. But that's my truth and my testimony. And remember, don't worry about the experiences that I have had as far as you thinking, well, I'm going to have to, do this and do that. You know your situation. You know the thing that you need to do. You know the thing that you need to work on. Okay, you know where you are in the present. Even if you have to drop some people, okay? Because everybody cannot go with you on this path. It's a very lonely path. Let me just say that. Many people, want to bring you down or want to keep you so distracted to where you can't see straight. They just keep you distracted and a bunch of nothing. Keep you in stagnation to where you're not looking forward because they're constantly trying to pull you to where you're looking back. So you got to keep all of that in mind. I was moving forward. I wasn't looking back anymore. And when I started to see things for what it was, I started to work on myself. I started getting out here and putting the work in, as well as I started doing some healing work as well. Okay? The Most High God ain't no respected person, but it is for you to do what you know is right. Stop comparing yourself. I don't need anybody to compare themselves to me. There's only one Corinth, and there's only one of you. So embrace you, love you, forgive you. That's right. It's not so much of forgiving other people. You have to forgive yourself for the things that you have allowed to go on, for the things that you have allowed to continue in your life. And you know what that is for you. Forgive yourself. I love you, family. Put the work in due season.